Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Birds of Prey, issue number one, 2023. I heard that Gail Simone's Birds of Prey was like one of the best comic books that people have read for a very long time. I really should consider reading that. But now we've got this. And when Gail said on her Twitter that she'd gotten a hold of this first copy and she read it and she absolutely puts her stamp of approval hard on this, I thought, well, huh, I got to see who's at least writing this comic book. And oh, it makes sense because it's Kelly Thompson. Huge fan of Kelly. And I think this is the first project that Kelly's worked on in DC. I could be wrong. I might be wrong. There's a chance I'm wrong. Either way, let's get talking about who made this comic book. Go from there. This book is called Megadeth Part 1. Megadeth? Well, I'm looking forward to a Symphony of Destruction now. I mean, it is what it is. Anyway, guys, so we got Kelly Thompson doing the writing on this. Art by Leonardo Romero. We have got Jordi Belair doing colors and Clayton Cowles doing the letters. The main covers by Romero and Belair, and there's a bunch of variant covers out there, including this beautiful one at the end here by Art Germ, Stanley Lau. This is a really good book, guys. It takes place after Green Arrow issue number 6, which is apparently the final issue in the Green Arrow series. Awesome. I haven't read it. I might now if this is so closely related. But it's funny. Kelly actually picks this up immediately after there because Green Arrow is in here and he's saying that his songbird has to his pretty bird has to go away. I don't think he even calls her pretty bird in this one, which if he doesn't, that's kind of disappointing, but that's okay. I always loved it when Ollie would call her pretty bird. Like that was always just like the cutest thing in the world, you know? Anyway, so Dina Lance winds up getting some kind of a mission by somebody, some surprise character. I don't actually know who this character is, but they show and they give like 3 different names for this character. Maybe you guys know who she is. I'm really behind on my DC lore. I used to be pretty darn good at it, genuinely. Like some of that Golden Age stuff, and I don't know about all the Silver Age, but a good portion of that Silver Age, and then of course the stuff that I was reading back in the '90s, right? Well, actually before then, I don't know, from '86 until about '92, right? That's when I was really heavily into comic books for the most part. Didn't have a channel, but I don't think there was a YouTube at the time, so there's that. Anyway, there's this character, and yeah, is who she is. So this character tells Dina Black Canary that she's got to form a team and go out and kick some butt and take some names. The first character who she picks is Cassandra Cain, once called Orphan. Now I believe she's going to be called Little Bat. Little Bat by Big Barda, who is freaking amazing in this book because she's funny without being funny. We're going to get more into that in a second. Another character, Xana the Zealot, is in here. She's apparently dating Grifter, if you remember him from, the big red bandana on his face with the blonde hair and all that. He was a cool looking character. I never really got into him. And then they finally wound up picking up Harley Quinn. I will say this. For some of the things that happen in this comic book, when Dina decides to show up and help Cassandra Cain. And if you're not familiar with who Orphan is, the little bat, that should be her new name from now on, just Little Bat. Dina does a really good job of, through her voice box, her narration boxes, which is her thoughts at this point, telling us why she's so amazing. I remember seeing some Batman comic books where somebody would be like, hey, so what would happen if you ever went against Orphan? Batman, without batting an eye and without even making any real, I don't know, ego check on it, he's just like, she'd probably kick my butt. But anyway, let's get talking about such and such and such. It's like, that's freaking awesome. Like the Batman just admits, oh yeah, such and such and such, right? I love that. Absolutely love that. So Cassandra has to go and get Big Barda. She winds up getting hit hard and sent flying, which is fun because she gets up and she's like, ow. But she's cool with it because, hey, sometimes that's what friends have to do. And it's Big Barda. Like, if Big Barda smacked me in the head when I woke up 6 years from now, I'd be like, dude, that's awesome. She kind of signed my head, right? Because I'm never going to look the same, huh? Man, that freaking art germ cover of Big Barda is just insane. But seeing these two together, this is all the humor I'll ever need. Anytime that Cassandra and Big Barda are going to be talking to each other, I feel is going to be some of the funniest stuff absolutely ever. Cassandra has to vouch for Harley Quinn to get on the team. And she tells the story. The problem is she doesn't. What is said by Big Barda after the story is related is hysterical. And it's only funnier when you go back and reread the interaction and you realize that what Big Barda said is 100% true. And I'm a guy who usually observes my surroundings really well. And in this particular case, it flew right by me. When I went back and looked at the quick little, scenario, I'm like, holy crap, she really didn't describe much of anything because she couldn't. She was almost speechless and she's just thinking her way where it goes and just, you're not very good at talking and it's not your strong point, but you're very good at knocking people out. So I loved that. God, I loved that. Plus the story of how Cassandra wasn't able to beat Harley Quinn in a fight is just magical. And it should go down as one of the top 10, at the very least, easily the top 20 moments in comic book history. Honestly, I was beside myself with how good it was. Like, it was freaking fun. The interactions in here, I mean, nobody writes dialogue the way that Kelly Thompson does. I just mentioned in the Conan books, issues 0, 1, and 2, that review I did, that when Zub is doing Conan, it seems like he comes kind of close to how good Kelly is with this, because character interactions are, to me, one of the most important things you could do in a comic book. Because if these people are all just robots or they're talking about absolutely nothing, then you don't enjoy reading the comic book. You just don't enjoy it, right? There's a big comic book series coming out from Marvel pretty soon where the dialogue absolutely murdered me. Like, I got cancer reading this thing, and I'm going to have to go into chemo pretty soon, which is fine because I guess I got to get it out of me. Anyway, like, the dialogue was so freaking bad, and I'll get into it when I'm allowed to actually review the comic book. But wow, some people just cannot write engaging dialogue to save you. It's like it's just info dump after info dump. Not with Kelly. She'll tell you an entire novel's cliff notes through a little interaction between two characters and a little bit of something that, some crazy person shouts in the background and the two characters will look back at each other and just start resuming a conversation like nothing ever happened. Nobody can do that better than Kelly Thompson. That's not a slight on them. It's a prop of her. She's that damn good at this. I would be having a completely different career, and I write all the time for my work. But man, I'd be doing this if I could write a quarter as good as Kelly can when it comes to dialogue. It's so good that with all 5 major characters and all the minor characters in this comic book, every single one of them, you could easily read them in a different voice. Why? Because they're all purposefully written very, very differently. I had a different voice in my head for every single word bubble I did, and I imagined that voice and started incorporating it by the second word bubble that every single person here was speaking in. And I love that. And it's so rare I can do that in a comic book. And boom, there you go, guys. I have got a brand new series that I need to be reading from now on. Just like I've got a brand new book. And I wrote 3 books. I'm in the process of writing the 3rd one. I got to kind of back off because I realized I haven't sold the first book yet. So this is a Kickstarter at this point. It is a book of more than 300 riddles. I put 300 plus riddles, about 308, I think, anyway, of riddles in this book a minimum of 300 of them are completely unique. They're mine. I've been doing this since I was 14 years old. This is for fantasy RPGs, just like Dungeons and Dragons, including Dungeons and Dragons. You can use it for Call of Cthulhu or anything that you want. And it'll teach you all about different riddles, how the different kind of riddles can actually be implemented in a story, in a campaign, in a book that you're writing, doesn't matter. And how to actually make your own riddles or modify the riddles that are already in here. Excuse me, I seem to be getting the burps. But anyway, this is a fantastic book. It's 80 pages and you're going to love this. It's on Kickstarter. Go back this comic book. I'm telling you, if you back this comic book, there's a new thing I'm doing. If you back, it's not a comic book. If you back this project, this book on riddles, and you get somebody else to back it also at any level, you back it at any level and they back it at any level, I'm going to send you the first 10 pages of my next book that I've already written. I just have to put some things together and edit and proofread and all that stuff. But I will send you the first 10 pages of that, which is a book on traps. Yeah, that's right. And I'm not talking about the music, damn it. I'm talking about all that good stuff that gets people caught up and possibly killed in a freaking Dungeons & Dragons or other role-playing game setting. You do know that I was an infantry soldier in the military for 6 years, right? Seen a lot of traps, built a lot of traps. A whole bunch of these can be used really well for Dungeons & Dragons. I should probably do my hair before I do these videos. Anyway, guys, like this video, watch an ad, get this book, get that book, get some books. I'll talk to you guys later. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.